Hello and welcome to I guess another Unity tutorial on programming, and hopefully this part should be a bit more, interesting. I'll probably edit some music in the background just so you can sort of seem less bored, if you know what I mean. I sort of was watching through and man, that sounded boring, but at least I explained, what to do and stuff like that. So as you can tell with the title, we're going to be doing the toggle flashlight script, and also I said I was going to redo the player health in C# in the next episode or part, but I'll redo the entire series in C# after I finish everything. So yeah. Oh wait, I'll turn that down. Yeah, sorry if that seemed a bit too loud for you. So I guess we get started because we have everything all set up. Also a bit of a brief on what happened last part was I added the player, did the player health, which is not there, it's in the manager. What am I doing? And you press hurt player and it starts damaging the player, but it doesn't have a thing to indicate that you die, but I won't be adding that yet, so yeah. I guess we get started with the flashlight. Go to the player. Also, I don't think I explained this in the last episode. With the editor, like inside of this little scene thing here I'm using now, you hold right click and you can look around, and while you're holding right click, WASD is to move around as if you're, I don't know, a player in a game and you're sort of moving around like that. And, or you could use this and go like that. But, I don't particularly use that much because it doesn't really focus on the things I want it to, unless if I click on it like that. And I particularly don't like the views, so. First we need to create a spotlight. This would be the flashlight, which we will be using. If you can see here, there's a little light. We'll go and name this flashlight light source. There we go, and we'll make that 0 so it faces forward like this. Where's the player facing? It's facing that way. Okay, so now I'm gonna go make this in the exact same position as 66, like that, and like this. There we go. So it's right there where the camera is, and we can make the range, which is basically the size of the flashlight, and width about, oh no, that's not the range, sorry, that's the spot angle. What am I talking about? I'll make that 60, and the range, which is how far it goes out, I'll make that 40. I don't know. And also I'll rotate it a little tiny bit up. I think about -2 up. And, this is also in the last part I showed you to import the light cookies, and this is basically where it comes in handy. You get, I guess, pre-made textures for the flashlight. So if I was to go here, you just drag this onto the cookie and it looks more realistic. So intensity, I'll leave it there. Range, I'll probably make that more 60. Actually, 80. So it goes really far. Sort of more realistic that way. Play, Let's see what it looks like on there. Oh yeah, that's right. I need to show you something first. The flashlight light source. So like what we have to do is we have to make it a child of the main camera, which means that this flashlight here will inherit the movement of the main camera, which, you know, you look around and stuff. And basically to do that, all we gotta do is drag it and put it under main camera, which makes the main camera a parent of the flashlight light source. Just think of it like, I guess, a mother holding their child's hand and, you know, inheriting the movement and where they're heading and stuff like that. So which means, like when you walk around, the flashlight will also go with the player, because the main camera is a child of the player, which means the main camera inherits the, I guess, the movement. I'll show you. So the main camera will inherit the movement of the player. So the main camera goes with the little capsule you can see there, and we've got the flashlight there, so we can see there is no damping or anything with the flashlight, which means it doesn't sort of lag when you're moving. Not lag, what's the word? Sort of have it drag behind while you're moving side to side or up and down, stuff like that with the flashlight movement. So that usually makes it more realistic, but we can do that another time. Right now we'll just leave it like this. Now that we got our flashlight set up, I guess we can get into the scripting, programming the toggling of the flashlight. So we'll do is create a JavaScript inside of the Java folder. You can lay all this out differently, so you don't have to lay it out the same. I'll call this player toggle and flashlight. This will include picking up batteries and stuff like that. Well, not this episode or part. It's gonna be, we're just gonna have the battery decrease. So over time, about like 10 minutes or something, it's gonna decrease in sensitivity over time, which means basically you can run out of batteries, and we'll later, when we get the battery set up, maybe next part, depending what I will think of doing, or I'll think of doing, or if you want to comment of what you want next, we'll create batteries, and I'll show you how you can set that all up and create, when you pick up a battery, it sets the variable back to 100 or 1, depending how you want to look at it. I'll open this up. Hopefully it doesn't die this time, so yeah. Also, if you were wondering, I won't be using the terrain like the whole time. I'm only using this as just a base, just sort of a floor, I guess, to use for the time being, and so I can test out the player, because I usually like getting the mechanics of things finished before I start getting into like level design and stuff like that, and stuff like the moving rooms and sort of stuff like that. So if you saw last part 1, you would have noticed that, you know, it started with these, and now you know what these mean. So this basically would mean update every frame. It does everything inside of this area here every frame, and then there's start, which means, you know, it only does it once when only does the stuff in here when the script is called in the middle here. So I'll remove that, or I could have kept it, but I guess we start off with the variables. So what we want first is I guess define what the flashlight is. So I got the variable start, and just go over that again. That's just a note, so the double slash means note, and you don't need that, but I like having it because it's neat. So I will briefly go back over what I did last part, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine, because not really. No, that's not fine. What am I talking about? No, I'll put a link to part 1 in the description so you can go over what I'm talking about. So there's variables, sorry, and I'm gonna call this flashlight light source, and I'll make that light. So that's a type of light. So this variable here is named flashlight light source, and it's a type light. So that's also a built-in thing in Unity. Oh, I'm typing, but it's not doing anything. Oh, there we go. Light, light on. There we go. And that's a boolean that equals true. So this means that when you start off, it would be already on. Light drain, which will be a type float, which is basically decimals as well as whole numbers. Bar variable battery life, and that will be a float of 0.0, and var max battery life will be a float that equals 1.0 maybe? I don't know. Okay, that means that what we're doing is we are basically changing the sensitivity of the flashlight. So here, you see the intensity, we can put it down. It's basically just decreasing, sort of like what we're doing with the health, but just with a flashlight this time. So 2 would look like this. So I'll quickly show you. So 2 would look like that. I guess that makes it look a lot better. We'll make it 2. So I'll keep it 2 there, and I'll go up and 2.0. There we go. I'll go and put a note here saying this is light source. Sorry, light source. Battery life, and down here we're gonna have sound clips. Sorry. So now we have the sound clips here, and I'll go put them in. So we'll need variables for the sound clips. Sound turn on, which will be an audio clip. A type audio clip, which is, yeah, that's typed out correctly, yes. Sound turn off, which is you know, do a colon, and then you would do type audio clip again. Did I do something wrong here? That's weird because that registers, but the one here doesn't. Whoops. I don't see how they are different. Wait. Oh, I see what I did. Oh, do I? Wait. Oh yeah, I'll put an L in it. Whoops. Okay, so sorry about that. I had like no sleep last night. So I'll put a variable. Variables end here, and now we'll start. Oh, get rid of that. Okay, function start. So, oh, sorry. Jeez. Here we go. This is basically where we'll be saying that the battery life would equal the max battery life, if that makes any sense. So it means that we can change the max battery life whenever we want if we don't like it. So then we don't have to change the battery life and the max battery life as well. So this means that no, battery life equals max battery life and semicolon. now here we'll put flashlight, light source, which is also here. And why did I put an S instead of a C? Whoopsie daisies. Then we do equal get component and bracket, and we put light. So that gets the component, like the light component, out of the light source we put there. Rightio. So this basically, when you start up the script, then it will define all these instantly, as the script is called function update. So this is all the stuff that would be updated every frame. So this is why, like, we would put if statements in here, so that every frame it continuously goes, is that happening yet? But if we're gonna put that in the if statements and start, then it would only check once. So if we put it if statements in if statements in function update, then it would continuously check if that's true or not, if that makes any sense. Light on, if light on, and battery life is bigger than 0, then battery life is minus equals time dot delta time times boom. So basically, sort of like sorry with the voice crack there, sort of like the health script we did in part 1. It's sort of draining over time while you have your light on. So using the boolean statement, we can tell if it's true or false, and using this if statement, we can say if light source, which if I just put light source, it means it's basically a shorter way of saying if light source equals true. So that means if light on, then, and also battery life is bigger than 0, then it drains. This and thing here is basically saying if both of these are true or false, or one's true or one's false. It's using to, like, saying if they're both true or both false, or one's true or one's false. Just, it's hard to explain. So if I was just to do if light on and then put another if statement under that, then that's not what we want, because we want to make sure that they both have a certain certain, I can't think of the word, but you know, thingy. There we go. Oh, I'm so hungry right now. Why did I start this video now? I'm starving. Yeah. Well, I'll quickly go write the rest, I guess, while explaining. We'll have to go. I'll copy this. We'll be now putting under here flashlight light source dot light dot intensity equals battery life. So this means that in the function update, it's not in the if statement because I closed it here. It's, I'll put an insert there. It's actually applying the battery life every frame to the intensity of the light inside the game. So this is happening every frame. So, oh man, I'm so hungry. I'm actually starting to feel sick. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry that I have a mouthful of food. More like a biscuit, but you know, I'm sort of starving right now, so sorry about that. I was actually like, you know, when you feel sick from being hungry so much. Basically, back to this. I also forgot to explain something. Putting the flashlight light source dot light intensity thing on the left is really important. So you can't put the battery life on the left and then put the intensity on the right, which means that this is the subject. Basically, this is a way of explaining it. This is the subject that we want to change. So that's the subject, and this is the answer, I guess, that will be changing the subject, if that makes any sense. So if I was to switch battery life equals that instead, then the battery life will equal, the intensity of that, which means when the battery life is trying to be decreased, it will continuously update saying no, battery life equals the intensity, and it'll just go straight back to 2. But with having the intensity as a subject of the formula thing, whatever you want to call it, equation, sorry, then it will be applying the battery life to the intensity instead. So because applying the answer to the subject. Yeah, hopefully that makes some sense to you, which it probably won't. So now we'll do an if the battery life is smaller than 0. So this basically is like what we did in the health script last part. Light on will equal false. So I'll put light on equals false in here, because then when it hits 0, then there's no point of it being on and it rendering, so you'll just turn it off there. And also we'll get into the using input code as well, so that what I'm gonna write here is I'm gonna write if you press F, basically, then I'll do a whole lot of things. So I'll put input, which goes into the input part of Unity, dot get key up, bracket, and another bracket, and in here we'll put key code dot F. So we have the key code there. Sorry about eating. I'll quickly make these. And now this is where we'll be using the this will be where we will be using the functions, our custom functions, which I'll show you how to use now. So we're going to do toggle flashlight, which would be basically toggling it. So when you press F, it toggles. Wait, no. Oops. Yeah. So when it toggles, and then we'll do the toggle flashlight SFX. Keep forgetting to put those. So that will basically go to those custom functions, but we haven't created them yet. But I'll do that in a couple of seconds. And also inside of here, we'll be putting another if statement inside of that if statement, and be putting if light on, then this is going to look weird for a couple of seconds, but you'll understand right after. Light on will equal false. Else if it's not, on, and battery life is bigger than 0, then, oh no, that's not what I wanted. Then light on equals true. So now basically, if this is inside of when you press the key code F, when you press F, it's saying if it's on, already on, when you press F, then it will turn off. But if it isn't on and the battery life is bigger than 0, then the light will go on again. If that makes any sense. Like we did up about here, when the battery life is smaller than 0, then it'll be off. Then you don't want to turn it off and turn it back on, and then it would exist again. So we would want to put an and battery life bigger than 0 thing. So just to understand that it's bigger than 0, then we can say light is on. Also, even though you won't be able to see it, it'll still be kind of getting rendered in the engine. So here, oh wait, not here, where am I putting it? Here, sorry, we'll be putting the toggle flashlight function. This is a custom function which I made right now. You can call this anything you like, except when you want to call it, then you go and put it this line anywhere you want, I guess. So I can do toggle F, but I'll have to change this to toggle F also. Inside of here we'll be putting we'll be putting the if this, like, because up here this is a variable, like a boolean variable, so all we're doing is just basically getting the boolean to the true or false statement to follow, if that makes any sense, to follow when you press F. So it changes to true and false when you press F, and here down here we'll be applying those true or false statements to the actual enabling of the flashlight. So sorry. If light is on, then flashlight, oh, that's light, not flashlight. Flashlight, light source, there we go, that's what I want. Dot enabled equals false. Oh, no, I want equals false. Ta-da! So this basically means, like, the flashlight light is dot enabled, which is, whoops, in here, you're basically toggling that. It's a Unity built-in function, so all we're doing is just changing this tick box here, which is basically, it's also known as a boolean. So you turn it, so it's on now, and then it goes off. So now if light on is on, then enabled equals false. Else, whoops, flashlight dot enabled equals true. So basically, if you can see here, if you press F, so if you press F, it will toggle, or it will toggle the flashlight here, and by doing that it connects to this function down here, and when you press F, if the light is on, then it goes off. Else, if it's off, it goes on. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense to you, and yeah, we don't really need to add the sound, but just for I don't know, showing you how to do it purposes, I'll do it anyway. So I'll create a function for it, and there. We basically recreate what we've done here, except we put sound thingies, if that makes any sense. So we will put if the flashlight light source dot enabled. This like dot enabled doesn't mean if it's actually enabled. You're just connecting to this component here, and also I'm just making it less of like making it quicker by not using the equals equals true, but just leaving it as is, and if it's false, you know, put this here. So we'll put that there. If that's, you know, enabled, then we put an audio dot clip equals sound turn on. Oops, I see what I did there. Else, if it's not true, I'll scroll down, not zoom down. Audio dot clip equals sound turn off. And under here we'll put audio dot play. So that when you press it, it plays audio, but if it's enabled, then if it's enabled, then it plays the clip on, like turning on. But if it's false, then it will play the clip turning off, and under here it plays it. So it's this audio dot play is not actually inside of these if statement and else statement at all. It's just in the function. So when you press F, it connects to this and it does the audio play, but this is just to confirm which sound you'll be playing, this part here. Yeah, so this is basically it, all you would have to do, and it's 32 minutes. Wow, I was not expecting it to be that long, but I'll have to add something quickly. Quickly move this down, and I will put a @ script require component. So this means that if the object you put it on doesn't have this component, then it sort of yells at you and screams at you, so you don't forget. So there. So basically it's saying @script, you know, it requires component and the audio source inside of the Unity. So now I'll show you how to apply it, or save it. And go in here. Here we go. Now we'll put the toggle flashlight on here. And is it imported? Oh, battery life. What have I done? Did I break something? Yeah, I broke something. It doesn't know what battery life is, even though I clearly stated it. Oh, I forgot to put a capital. So I'll save that. I think that was the only error. Is it? Yeah, that's the only error. So there we go. Yep. Okay, so now what we will do is we drag the light source in here, and is the light on? Yes. And we can put the 2 sound clips in here. I don't have the sound clips, but I'll put them in next part so you can see what it's like. So yeah, so I'll quickly go add an audio source to it. So we type in audio audio source. So this will be used to, no, we don't want to play on Awake. This will be used to play the sound. So in the area of the flashlight, it will play the sound in here. So with the toggle flashlight, that tells this to make a sound, the audio source thing. So, whoops, no, not bypass effects, go away, shoo. So, try it out down here, and you press F, and it turns off and on. But over time, it slowly goes down. I'll quickly show you down on the side. See the battery life, and it slowly goes down from 2. I'll speed this bit up so you can see it go down. So yeah, now that I've ran out of flashlight, that went a little bit fast, but it's not that, you know, you can sort of change the light drain and, you know, the max battery life yourself. So hopefully you enjoyed, and, you know, you got a lot out of this. Sorry that I'm eating. I'm not the best at commentating and making tutorials, if you can tell. So I'll quickly create a prefab for it. Prefab. Also, you don't need to have these folders, you can really make it an absolute mess. But I like having things neat. I'll quickly make it a prefab player. And, well, no. That's not, no. Shoo. And put it in player. There we go. So, sorry. So, now that it's saved as a prefab, and I can use this in a whole new scene. If I go new scene, I can sort of put the player inside of that scene just by dragging it on like so. We don't want 2 players though. Thank you for watching. Also, if I got a message from someone saying that they were pretty sad they didn't get a piece of pie, also, just a word of advice, well, not advice, sorry. I didn't get a piece of pie either, so I was using that as an example. The script got a piece of pie, sadly. Every frame, it got a pie, and it was like 60 frames per second, a piece of pie. So, I know, kind of depressing. I wish I could give you a piece of pie, but I can't. So, thank you for watching. It's been 40 minutes. Are you kidding? What? Yeah. Thank you for watching. I wasn't expecting 40 minutes, but we created the script. You had the flashlight. You're all happy, jolly. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Comment if you had any trouble. I'll put the script in the description to a paste bin. But wait, I need a burp. Sorry. Wait, it's coming and it vanished. No, it's coming. Yep, there we go. Sorry about that. My voice cracked. I do a paste bin, but I advise you to sort of go through the tutorial if, well, probably you would have if you're here by now, but, you know, follow through and understand what I'm talking about instead of just copying the script. So, next part, hopefully, if you want that, just comment if you want it or not. You will do a part about adding batteries that you can pick up and using a raycast as well to know when you're looking at it, and maybe adding a little texture with a picture of the hand in the center of the screen to show you picking it up. So thank you for watching. I'll add the download to Unity in the description again, and yeah, also I'll put part 1. If only I would shut up and say like this video if you enjoyed it, and dislike it if you didn't enjoy it and it was too long. and I explained hardly anything. If you, yeah, just dislike it if you believe that, but like it if you enjoyed it and you got, you know, if you learned stuff and you actually understand what you're writing, instead of just going, what am I writing, but I don't care because I'm getting a script out of it. So now you'll be able to use it in future scripts, the stuff I used. So I guess thank you for watching. Like it if you enjoyed it, dislike it if you didn't. Comment if you don't understand something, or comment if you enjoyed the video too, or comment and go, your videos suck, loser. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if, you know, you want to continuously follow the series, I guess. And potatoes, salads, bye.